For all your TCG needs, make sure to check out alphatradingcardgames.com. What up guys, Saberwolf94. Gonna be talking about Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth. One of the most unconventional game names, no doubt, but the actual game is a lot simpler. If you like 2D exploration action games, then the gameplay should speak for itself, although this game is gonna be a lot simpler in many ways to castlevania games in terms of RPG mechanics. What sets it apart from other games in this category is the Fire and Wind Spirit familiar system. You'll acquire these spirits pretty quickly into the game, and they serve as abilities to go through hazards and platforms. They also serve as changing your attribute offensively and defensively, as some enemies will be completely immune to attacks from one of these attributes, and by the same token, you can block their attacks completely as well if you summon the right spirit. The spirits also accompany you as familiars and assist you in battle, but their contribution is usually minor, otherwise they'd be too overpowered. Another unique mechanic is solving puzzles and opening areas through your bow. Shooting arrows with it can be used as a weapon, but it's also necessary to progress through some areas and unlock them. Outside of these mechanics, the game plays like a 2D Castlevania game you'd find on the GBA or DS Lite. Your movement abilities limit you from accessing some areas until you beat a boss or just unlock a new ability that will let you progress. Breakable walls hiding items and secret areas are also part of the exploration here. Once again, a common feature from Castlevania games made by Iga. What's not mimicked though are the RPG mechanics. The game does have a few shops and there are a lot of different weapons and items scattered in the game, but they don't really make that big of a difference. You just have to be mindful of upgrading to a better sword or bow you get, and that's about it. Deedlit can also find and use a few different spells, which is another aspect of combat. I can't really make a precise calculation, but I'd say this is a shorter game than Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, so the combat options included are about enough for the size of the game. Graphically, the game does look like it came in the late 90s alongside Symphony of the Night, so if you like sprite-based outlooks, I don't think you'll be disappointed. The visual variety and details are limited though, and the areas really just serve as some places you'll kill monsters at. There isn't much eye candy at all. What's definitely a treat though is the music and sound effects. Great video game music is always important to me, and this game doesn't disappoint. It's a small soundtrack, as once again, this isn't the biggest game in the world, but it puts you on the right monster slaying mood. Story in the game isn't anything deep, it's just there to move the game along and give you something to uncover, but it isn't something to be concerned about given the length of the game. The main character, Deedlit, wakes up with no recollection of what happened and is looking to find her lover. In terms of price, I bought this game when it was discounted to £11.69. I think it normally goes around 15 maybe, but for £11-12 or whatever your currency is, it's worth the length. If you haven't played any of the GBA Castlevania games, then it's definitely a better deal to buy the most recent collection Konami made, as Aria of Sorrow alone is more than worth it. But if you played those, then this is another solid game in the same genre. It might be lacking in RPG elements, but it shines in impressive boss fights and tight combat with good rhythm and flow. Showing the game some love, hope you enjoyed the review, like and share this video, and subscribe to the channel for mostly TCG videos and more. Saberwolf94, what's that? Yo, it's me again guys. So when I wrote and recorded the script, I didn't realize how short it actually was until after I recorded it and edited it up. But I mean, to be honest, there isn't really that much else to add to this game. I haven't beaten it yet, but I'm basically towards the end where you beat Ashram, I think is his name. I did beat him. He was a little bit difficult, but I ended up beating him in the end. I mean, in terms of difficulty, I guess I didn't touch on that on the script. This game is as difficult as you want it to be. If you don't grind and you get carried away and you don't dodge the enemies, they are going to be able to kill you. I mean, some enemies are kind of difficult. Bosses are impressive, and they're going to be probably the most difficult thing too. Some of them at least. But other than that, I mean, if you grind, the game is going to be kind of easy. I didn't beat it, so I don't know if there's any sort of replay value in terms of playing the game with a different character or something, like the other chick that's in the game that looks like Deedlit. If you play 2D Castlevania games, obviously you know what the deal is with this sort of a game, but the RPG mechanics are lacking, as I explained in the script. The game doesn't necessarily need them. I mean, the gameplay is really tight. Even though this is like a sprite-based game that looks like it came in the 90s, like with Symphony of the Night, it does play and feel more modern. You probably can't get this type of flow in some of the GBA Castlevania games, for example. A lot of the loot and items are kind of pointless, as I also say in the script. You can't even equip armor and stuff like in other games, like in Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, for example. I think if the game was longer and had more mechanics like that, it would have been good. But for the most part, I mean, you just upgrade your bow and sword if you get anything good. I didn't even buy anything from the shop. You don't need to. I don't even know what the point of the extra money is. And that's pretty much it. I mean, simple game. Sometimes these simple games are the best. Obviously, if you haven't played any of the Castlevania games that Konami's releasing compilations all the time now, then the GBA compilation is probably a better buy than this in terms of value for money. But I would imagine most people that are into Castlevania have played Castlevania games like the GBA ones, the DS ones. But this isn't something that maybe every Castlevania, Igavania fan has played. So I thought I'd talk about it. Deedlit in Wonderland. It's Wonder Labyrinth, but I like to say Wonderland. It's a pretty good game. It's not exactly the type of game you're gonna play again when you beat it. Unless you really like its style and you want to just pass the time, go around killing the same monsters over and over. I guess something like Hollow Knight is also going to be of higher quality and bang for your buck. But that game is a lot harder and isn't going to have mechanics like level up and stuff, like in this game. But I had a pretty fun time with it. Anyways guys, this is goodbye for good now. Make sure to check out my links in the description. Follow me on social media, check out my Yu-Gi-Oh book. Obviously subscribe. I mostly do Pokemon TCG, Yu-Gi-Oh TCG stuff on this channel, but sometimes I do other miscellaneous things like video reviews and just anything else that comes to my mind. And that's Record of Lodoss, Deedlit in Wonderland. Sabro94, what a